In. My name's Rob Howden, the Road to Indy insider, and again, the voice of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Thrilled to be here again on location. I'm down in California, Southern California, for a couple of weeks before we head out and go racing. Of course, Mid-Ohio, the event coming up next week on Wednesday and Thursday, a triple header, lots of track time for the drivers. But of course, big time as well was the event that we had just a couple of weeks ago at Road America. So tremendous to finally get back to the racetrack. I know all the drivers were absolutely dying to get back racing again. Now, I want to mention, as I tried to do before I had the audio issues here, pretty solid job, I think, by the paddock in terms of staying with the all the procedures we had, all the guidelines for the COVID-19. We've got to keep our masks up. I know that people have different feelings on what is happening within the pandemic. But the bottom line is, number one, you respect everyone around you. But number two, we have these precautions and procedures that are put in place, and we need to stay with them. It's better, but it's what we have to do. We have to stay with this. We want to make sure racing stays around. We've got to be super diligent. We've got to be smart. And I think what most people drivers did at Road America was solid. I look for an even better approach at Mid-Ohio. They're calling for everyone to have masks on 100% of the time. I know a lot of people have their masks off when they were in their tents with the team, whatever it may be, but they are really going to push it at Mid-Ohio to make sure everything comes off clean. It's going to be a triple header for us as well, Wednesday and Thursday, as I said. This is kind of a preview, if you will, of Mid-Ohio, but we're also going to talk to a couple of drivers. I have Christian Rasmussen from J. Howard Driver Development, and I have Nate Aranda from Juncos Racing. I'm going to talk to both those drivers. If you didn't tune in to my IG Live interviews I did earlier this year, we're going to give these drivers a chance to kind of give some of their origin story, give them some of the background, because obviously some of you may not know a lot about Nate or may not know a lot about Christian's background. We'll give them a chance to talk about that. We'll talk about Road America, give them an opportunity to kind of give us a little insight into how their weekends went, and we'll bring them both on together at the end of the show to talk about Road America, rather the Mid-Ohio, their expectations going into that event, how things went for them at the test, and how they are looking for the start of the season. And yes, my microphone's going. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll put this up here for a chat. If you have questions for my drivers, please put that on there. But yeah, I got the mic on, David, so got it back going. Let's get started here. Let's bring in guest number one. I'm going to bring in, boom, Christian Rasmussen.
Hey,
Christian,
guys.
how are you, Christian?
Good. How are you, Rob?
I am very, very good. I'll tell you one thing. It's unbelievably warm down here. I know that you're in New Orleans right now with the Bogle family, so probably warm there as well. But looking forward to getting to Mid-Ohio next week. I want to start with this. First off, I'll give you so Christian Rasmussen, folks, 20 years of age. Now, I was going to say 2 times a winner. Now 4 times a winner in USF 2000. Won 2 races last year.
5.
What race am I missing?
Mid-Ohio, Toronto, and Laguna.
Laguna, that's right.
Yeah.
You know what? I apologize because what happens all the time?
No
when
problem.
You're in Laguna and you're not the champion, people you forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Some guy will have this big, awesome win, but everybody celebrates the champion winning that one. So 5 times a winner now. You swept the weekend at Road America. Let's start with a little bit of your background. When did you get started in racing?
I started racing when I was 5 years old. I started in rental karts, indoor karting track, very local, very close to my home in Copenhagen. Yes, took off from there. I started racing outside in karts on also a local karting track. Started getting up the junior ranks in karting. Did karting until I was 15. Won the Danish championship, won the North European championship, and then I went on to racing Formula Ford back in Denmark. Got second place in the championship. Did Danish F4 the year after 2017 with Jan Magnussen Racing Experience. Got third in the championship, and then I moved to the United States. Did F4 over here, and then USF afterwards that. So. Second year in USF and looking forward to it.
How did you feel your transition was coming out of karts into the Formula Ford? I'm a huge Formula Ford fan. I think it's one of the best things any driver can do coming out of karting. How was the transition for you from karts to cars?
It was great for me. I mean, it really teaches you the basics of driving a car without having any downforce or anything. It really teaches you to drive a car with mechanical grip, and that was definitely great for me.
Throwing it around a little bit, because I know one of the things about karting is I always say with karting we're over horsepowered and overtired. We have so much tire, so much grip, right? Then you move to a Formula 4 where you have to kind of slide the car around a little bit.
Definitely. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right, so let's jump into, you already mentioned the fact that you've won 5 races now, 3 races last year. Now I'll have that in my mind that I made the mistake. I'll never do that again. 3 times you won last year. I picked you in the offseason. I was like, Christian Rasmussen's coming back to USF 2000. He's staying with Jay Howard, driver development. They were strong last year, had a couple of wins that were in my mind, 3. How do you feel right now, the fact that you came out of the gate so well? Were you surprised maybe by how well you started the season at Road America?
I don't know if I would say I was surprised. I mean, we came off with having 7 podiums with 8 possible podiums in the last half of the last season. So I knew that we were strong, and I knew that the guys have been working very hard all the off season. I've been working very hard on my side as well to keep fit, stay fit, and everything, doing everything that I can. So I knew that we were gonna be strong. I don't know if I knew that we were going to be that strong.
Sure.
But it was a great weekend.
So, we talk about the teams going through. You have a plan for the test day. We did 3 test sessions, a lot of track time at Road America. And then, of course, that final session when you're probably going to do qualifying sims or whatever, it ends up raining, right? So it's wet. Then you come out in qualifying. And how much were you? 0.7 of a second or something faster than everybody in wet qualifying? It was crazy.
In qualifying, 1.3 seconds.
What? So, okay. Do you like the rain? Did you expect that? Are you good in the rain? Well, you're obviously good in the rain, but do you like running in the rain or what?
I love running in the rain. I mean, the car feels so much more on edge. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I come from Denmark. It rains a lot. I've been doing a lot of rain back home, both in karting and cars as well. So I love driving in the rain, and yeah, I've become pretty good at it over the time. So
well, and let's be real. Road America in the rain is like you were hauling the mail. Turn 1, the carousel in the rain. What was that like?
Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool.
Did you run? We didn't have the video. Did you run way on the outside?
Way on the outside, yeah, definitely. So that was definitely the way to go. So you had that success, like you said, such a strong second half of the season last year. In the races, the first race had a number of yellows. You had to handle those restarts. How much different are you than you were last year to the start of this season in terms of being comfortable with a restart like that and taking on your competition? I think it was definitely great coming back, because you know everything, you know how everything works, you kind of know what to do, you develop your skill both on restarts, because that's also a craft in itself to get a good restart. And it was just great coming back, having the confidence from last year, and just knowing how everything works and stuff. So
did you have to make any changes or many changes from the car from the race win at the start of the day to the race win at the end of the day? Did you make many changes? I know there wasn't a lot of time between the 2 races. Was there a lot of adjustments done?
No, not really. I mean, it was small tweaks. We have our car pretty dialed in, so we know what we want and we know what is best for the car and what works. So small tweaks here and there to the weather, but pretty much the same car.
Well, listen, I'm going to drop you in the back, bring Nate on. You stay where you are right now, because I'll bring you back on. We'll talk about Mid-Ohio, but I'm going to drop you off here. Well, if you guys have any questions for these guys, folks, make sure you're posted up here. Let's bring Nate Aranda. Nate, how are you?
Good, and you?
I am fantastic, man. Thanks for being patient back there. I do appreciate it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about your story as well, because it's much different than Christian's. You don't have this. You didn't start karting when you were 5 years old. How did you get to the road to Indy?
So I started when I was 17. I'm a late bloomer. I didn't do any karting whatsoever. My first car was a faster car, obviously, and I, was a naive teenager and was a little bit stupid and did it not responsibly. I raced not responsibly on the street, and I really wanted to think about my life a little bit. And my father gave me the opportunity to go to a race school, and that's how I found Lucas Oil School of Racing. Nice. And from there on, my second race, I started ponying. So, I finished 5th in that series. I'm super grateful for that. But that's how I got started. I got started in Lucas Oil School of Racing when I was 17 years old, and I moved up when I was 18 into USF 2000. And unfortunately, I broke my back in the first race, which was not fun. Spent half that season, more than half that season in bed, which was also not fun. And then I knew from then on, I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and it was racing. I knew after I broke my back, if I still wanted to go back, that means I'm passionate about it. I really do love the sport. Yeah. So 2019 was a little bit chaotic. I lived in Miami. I moved down with my coach, Juan Arenas. And that's when I got into karting. I got into shifter karts, and that was great. The amount that I learned, I know how to put a cart together. I don't know anything. I don't come from any kind of one. I mean, nothing. My father, my mother, nobody in my family is mechanically inclined. Wow. So I was blank. I was a blank page, and Juan really took me underneath his wing and showed me how to, what it means to set up your own cart, and how to, when it's wet, what you got to do, when it's dry, what you have to do, tire pressures, everything, how to, work on the engine. I loved it. And then I did a lot of F4 testing and SCCA race events down with a team called Pole Position, and then a team, Ernie Galnello is actually the Juncos engineer. He has an F4 team. I raced for him too. Has really strong showings. We did a couple events with the actual F4 series in the United States. We had some really, really strong showings. We were top of the field every time we went out. So I felt like I had enough experience that whole year of just trying to get prepared to move all the way up to Indy Pro 2000. And this year I'm fortunate enough to sign with Juncos Racing. So I'm excited to take it from there.
Well, so let's talk about that. You're supposed to make your Road to Indy debut last year at St. Petersburg. You have the incident and get injured. You come back, so your real debut is at Road America, bad fast racetrack, 4.1 miles long. You did some testing. If we look at Road America, number one, just give me the overview of your feeling on how Road America went for you. I know you battled a couple issues, but you had some good runs as well.
Overall, I had a fantastic time, and I think we had a really, really strong showing for my debut. When I look at it, it was my third time in the car, literally. I've probably had less than 72 hours around that car in general. So qualifying, we had a little bit of a malfunction. Obviously, it went from dry to wet and wet to dry. So, but during the wet, I was top 5 for the entire session, but we didn't have enough time to get a dry run in at the end of the session, which put me so far back to the field for qualifying for the gridding. So that was unfortunate, but I'm really happy that we made up more than half my spots back up during the race. We had some really strong passes, clean passes. What I'm happy though is that I brought the car back home safe, and I understood what changes were made to the car throughout the entire weekend. I really, hung out with my engineer, Kevin. He really explained everything to me, and we went to depth. So I take away the weekend as a huge win. 9th place each race. I'm extremely happy. Top 10. Yeah. So I learned a lot, and I'm really excited to get going to Mid-Ohio.
I have to believe, Nate, that the learning curve is so steep for you. It's like every lap, you're learning every lap, right? Every session. When you come back in, you debrief, you go back on the racetrack again. I can just imagine how much information. It's got to be like drinking water out of a fire hose. There's so much stuff coming.
It's a little hard, but the amount of drive that I have for the sport, I really do love this sport. I want to do anything I can to be able to be sustainable in this sport. But yeah, especially for the first session of the testing, we didn't even make it out. I sat in my car. I didn't get out. I didn't want to unbuckle until I had to unbuckle because we had electrical issues with the ECU. It was unfortunate. Nothing they could do. They were working on it the entire session, 45 minutes. And while I was sitting there, I was watching a video that they give us to debrief of the track. And I was turning the wheel with the clutch and the gas, and I was just imagining myself on track to do what I can. Yep. But I'm happy. 2 more sessions. I'm running. I'm not far. I'm not at the back of the field. That's what I'm happy about. I'm actually running really close to my teammates. There was a couple times that we were running faster than one of my teammates. So I'm grateful for that. And my teammates also they're really nice guys. I've never been on a team with multiple drivers. Yep. And when we sit down in the debrief room, man, they're just great people. They tell me, hey, what are you doing here? This is what it's going to feel like. It's nice because they're on track and they know. Yeah, the engineers know, but they don't know what it's like to be on the track. And it's great. Yeah, I can't thank my whole team enough for that.
Like you said, a couple of top 10 finishes. Was that kind of your expectation going in? What you said there was something I really liked. You were able to finish both races, right? Bring the car back in one piece. That's key. Roll it on the trailer for a young driver like you who's learning is key. But a couple of top 10s, maybe over your expectations or kind of what you were looking at?
So before the race started, I kind of talked with one of the race coaches there, Victor Franzoni.
Yeah.
He said, hey, so you're qualified 13th, and then the other race was qualified 15th. So he was like, hey, top 10 is going to be huge for you. If you finish 7 to 10 that hour, we will be nothing but grateful for you, and you bring the car back, that's a strong showing. So all I really wanted to do was make the team owner, Ricardo Juncos, proud and show him that I'm here, because obviously he's taking a risk on me. As you know, I have very little experience, but I put every time I'm in the car, I put my head down, and I'm learning as much as I can, as fast as I can, to show that I can be here and that I'm a part of I can bring something to the table, if you know what I mean. So I'm happy with where we showed, and they're happy with what we showed, and no damage to the car. We had really close incidences, and that doesn't mean that I'm racing soft. Doesn't mean that I won't take a deep pass. No, of course. I mean, I made a 3 wide pass into turn 1 on the outside. I'm racing, but I also know, the risk to reward ratios. So I'm really grateful for what the team, explained to me before we went to the race, and I'm excited to have stronger showings. I want to get a higher qualifying so that I can make that qualify at 9th, hopefully, and then make it all the way up to top 5.
Well, you get back in the car next week, dude. You get to keep doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. Every time we get in the car, I think that we're just skyrocketing forward. I mean, it's crazy how much progression we're seeing throughout 2 days of testing and 1 day of racing. So I'm really excited to see how this season plays out.
Well, congrats on that run. Let's bring Christian back in here now. Let's make sure I do this right. Boom. Change things up here. There we go. All right, guys, got you both in here. Let's talk about next week. Again, I'm sure that Nate would say this. He wanted to go right back in the car the next day or the next weekend, right? Any kind of downtime is too much downtime. Christian, we'll start with you. We go to Mid-Ohio. You're the point leader. You won 2 races, so you got a pretty solid lead right now. You also won last year at Mid-Ohio, so it's a track that you know you can win on. What are the expectations going in? Would it be too aggressive to say you want to win 5 in a row?
I mean, that's the goal, isn't it? I mean, but the goal is to extend the points lead, definitely, and just continue being consistent, continue winning races, and just do the best we can. If the car is for second place, we'll get a second place. I mean, we're thinking championship, and that's the most important part right now. So, but I mean, race wins is always the goal. So.
Like you said, you won 3 races last year. We're not going back to Toronto this year, hopefully again in 2021. We will be at Laguna Seca as the penultimate round of the series where you won before as well, as you said. Where do you rank Mid-Ohio in terms of one of your tracks on how good you are and how much you like the track?
I mean, I will say Mid-Ohio has always been good to me. I won there in F4. I won there the year after in USF, and hopefully we can win there again this year. I really like Mid-Ohio. It's a flowing track, very technical, and I love that sort of stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting back there.
I'm trying to look up the track right now to find out exactly what the weather's like. I'll do that in a couple seconds, because if it rains, obviously you're going to be super strong. Nate, what about you? Mid-Ohio, you were there for the test, right? So you're actually going back to a track that you've driven on before. So that's a plus. Then coming off Road America, what are your thoughts on that?
I won there. That was my first race win in Lucas Oil School Racing. I won I out-qualified everybody by, I think, 3 seconds. It was in the rain. So, as you know, Mid-Ohio in the rain is very, very slippery.
Super tough, yeah.
As Christian was talking about earlier, being a little bit on edge with the car is a great feeling. When you go into, past on the drive line and you slide all the way out and it barely catches last minute. Oh, that is one of the best feelings in the world.
You're praying for it, right? Please.
Please hold, and then boom, last minute it catches you and you're gone. I've had really strong showing at Mid-Ohio. This is obviously a new car, but I'm just taking what I learned from Lucas Oil, and then the last test session that I had, I think that we're going to get up to speed really, really quickly, and rain or shine, I think we're going to have really strong showing there.
Well, you mentioned the fact that you qualified 13th and 15th, and were able to work your way to the top 10. Qualifying so important in Mid-Ohio. The track does change a lot, but it's hard to pass there, as we know. Any thoughts on will you potentially do more qualifying sims to be able to try to get yourself forward?
So what me and my coach Juan Arenas are going to be doing right now, for at least for the next 4 or 5 days, are going to be doing qualifying sessions. We're going to be run out on the simulator. Yep. We're going to run out, do 5 laps, come back in, completely restart it, go back out, completely restart it, go back out. We're going to try all different weather situations. That's all I think I can do to the best prepare for this, to be honest. I mean, looking back at the test session, we had a strong showing there. We were running mid-pack, but I'd like to be a little bit faster there, to be honest. I still got to get used to the car a little bit more, trusting. What I love about Road America is that it really taught me to trust the downforce. It's a high-speed track, high-speed corners, and I never came from downforce. I skipped USF 2000, so I don't know anything about downforce. So now that I really got to truly experience that, I really think taking that from Road America to Mid-Ohio, it's going to be dramatic change, especially like those fast left-handers that are going to be flat out. Now I know the car is going to be stable. Now I know it's going to hold, and I can trust the car a little bit more.
Yeah, when you have the confidence, right, you're able to just understand what the car is going to do.
Exactly.
Christian, you speak to that as well yourself. This is obviously your second year in USF 2000. You did have 4 before that, as you said, but your second year. How long through the season did it take for you to really start trusting the downforce in that car, or did it come pretty easy for you?
I'll say it came pretty easy for me. I mean, I did 2 years of F4 before that, which also has downforce, so I was kind of used to it by then. Obviously, it gets a bit more, but for me, it's just driving a bit harder into the corner, so that suits my driving style pretty well, and hopefully it will when the downforce level gets higher and higher. So
track changed a lot, as I said, from Friday all the way through to Sunday. That'll be when we're there later on. We're here Wednesday, Thursday, another packed schedule, a triple header. Christian, you've obviously won there before. Is there one particular part of the racetrack that you think maybe is crucial for you, or maybe one of the ones that challenges you more than another one, just the track itself?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty good in the high speed stuff, which where you depend on the downforce, like we talked about. But I mean, I think I'm pretty consistent throughout the whole track. I mean, that's what you want to be. Obviously, when you want to race consistently or want to be at the front, you got to be good everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're working on.
And Nate, we'll talk to you the same question. But for me, I know that every time I've raced, I've done some lower horsepower Formula V, Formula First. I drove a shifter kart there as well. Coming out of Thunder Valley, the left-hander, the blind left-hander at the top of the hill, that's the one that always kind of caught me off guard. To just place the car. Was that a tough thing for you to pick up?
To be honest, no, because the Lucas oil car is very slippery. Let's just say that. I mean, every corner you're going to be counter steering no matter what. So it's like drifting around every single corner. Yeah. So that's what I love about the Lucas oil car, is it really taught me car control and to be, understand what's going to happen when we're going to go over this and where to place it, because if you're wrong, it's going to be a little bit iffy. But no, because that, even in the test, that wasn't an issue. The only corner that was a real issue for me was the left-hander going before the carousel. Turn 1 was flat for me. I was happy that I was happy to tell my teammates that I got it flat before them in the test sessions. But yeah, so like the left-hander before the carousel, that's the one corner that I wasn't trusting the downforce enough. So I'm really cannot wait to get there and actually trust it now, knowing that I know what it's like going high speeds there. But other than that, I know Mid-Ohio is a very difficult technical track. Car placement is very, very key there. But no, that wasn't really an issue for the test session, to be honest.
Right on. All right, Christian, let's wrap things up here now. You go to Mid-Ohio. Like you said, you want race wins. You want seconds. Can I ask you who you think is going to be your primary challenger when you get there?
I mean,
I think some names out here.
I don't know. I mean, I think who we saw up front last race. I think the Cape guys is going to be quick. They're always quick. Barrichello is going to be quick, definitely. I think probably he's going to be my main competitor this year. But we'll see. I mean, in the road to Indy, everything, it can go every way, Yeah. So yeah, we'll see who maybe some new guys is going to come up front, and yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's very true about Mid-Ohio. You don't know who's going to step to the forefront. Nate, what about you? What's your expectation? Where do you want to be? Top 10s again? Is that the goal?
I want to be top 10s again, and I want to have a strong qualifying, to be honest. And I just want to bring the car back and make the team proud. That's it. Those are my main goals.
Roll it on the trailer, man. Roll it on the trailer.
We're on a marathon here. We're not in a sprint right now. So
you're thinking macro. I like that. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Listen, thank you so much for joining me here on a Wednesday. We had to push it off 15 minutes. Thanks for your patience and being able to do that. When are you guys taking off? When are you guys getting to Mid-Ohio? I'll start with you, Christian.
We are taking up Monday, I believe.
Okay, I'm heading there Tuesday. What about you, Nate?
Same, Monday morning at 10.
All right, let's give you guys an opportunity to, number one, thank sponsors you may have, and give me your social media. Christian, start with you. What are your sponsors, and how can people follow you on social media?
Guys can follow me on my Twitter, Christian R underscore DK, my Instagram profile, Christian_Rasmussen_, or my Facebook, Christian Rasmussen Racing. My sponsors, Rema 1000. I mean, we have been working together for a longer time, so I'm very appreciative of that. Daesu, Team Denmark, all those guys is what keeps me going. So very grateful.
I love it. Nate, what about you?
You guys can follow me anywhere. To be honest, all the platforms are at Nate.Aranda. Instagram is probably by far my strongest one right now. We're bringing up the YouTube right now a little bit too. My main sponsor is Craft 1861. It's a CBD company for sports. I use it for my back after I got injured, and it's life saving. Has 0 THC in it because as we all get tested before racing, so I can't risk about any of that. I mean, it's great for government workers because they can't have, if they get caught at all, they're done. So it's a great CBD product. And then Ascent Protein, great company, clean protein. I take it before my workouts. As you know, Rob, I talk about fitness all 24/7, and it's going to come into play with this triple header. And then one more is Brewy Clothing. It's brand new. I'm super stoked to announce that they're now sponsoring me. So get a bunch of new athletic clothing. Go check it out.
We'll be watching on your social media, guys. Hey, Christian, thank you so much for joining me. Nate, you as well.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll drop these guys out and we'll wrap things up here, folks. A fantastic interview with these guys. You know what? One of the things I really love when we're doing this is, let me go over here, is the simple fact that, we get a chance to talk to these guys, get a chance to introduce you to them. You may not have seen them before. These are the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. This is where guys like Zach Veach, Oliver Askew, Renus VK, you just keep going through the list of guys that have worked their way up. Spencer Piggott, of course, one of them as well, have gone all the way to the NTT IndyCar Series. This is the future. This is the opportunity to meet these guys. Once we get past this COVID-19, make sure you get back in the paddock and meet them as well. Fantastic opportunity to be able to meet the future stars, which are great. As I said before, one of the things I'll be doing again, we have this, of course, on Facebook. I'm going to turn it into a YouTube video as well. I'll upload it to my YouTube channel. If you're a kind of guy, let me get this up here for you as well. If you're a kind of guy that likes to listen to a lot of podcasts, you can go to my Road to Indy Insider page on Podbean. From Podbean, I put it on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify as well. Lots of different opportunities to be able to take in the content, whether you're driving to the track, flying to the track, whatever it may be. Big thank you, of course, to our guest today, Christian Rasmussen from J. Howard Driver Development, point leader in the USF 2000 Championship. I'd said 2 times winner last year. He corrected me. Yes, Laguna Seca, he won there. 3 times a winner last year, added 2 at Road America. So he's won 5 races. Nate Aranda, as he said, rookie driver. Impressive weekend for sure at Road America. A couple of top 10, solid run for Nate. I think if he does that again here this weekend, this next week coming up, again, Wednesday, Thursday, the races from Mid-Ohio, he's going to start some more momentum that's going to carry himself through the end of the season. When we do go to Mid-Ohio, remember, folks, download the Road to Indy TV app if you haven't already done so. I'm hearing that potentially we could be having video coverage. I can't confirm that. Otherwise, it would be our audio coverage again, like we did at Road America. I'm being told potentially having video. I know people love watching the races, and we'll do what we can for you there. Otherwise, we hope you tune in and tune in again next week. I'll make sure we have some winners on from Road America as well. I go right to the USAC Battle at the Brickyard Karting event after the race at Mid-Ohio, so it'll be probably the following week. So much racing coming on. I'm on the road for 12 weeks, so there's going to be a lot of different locations for these Road to Indy Insider live shows. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. I do appreciate it. Book it.